Hey everybody, welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas. Thanks all for being here. Welcome to the show, everybody. Hope you're having a great week. It's one of those days. What day is it, Don?
It's hump day!
Happy hump day, everybody. Hope you guys are doing great. You're another couple days away from the weekend, but
a couple days older.
Hopefully wiser. And speaking of being older,
Oh?
did you know, Don, someone's older?
You older than me?
No, not quite that old. But
thanks.
There's well, I'm older than you, right? So that
barely,
counts.
But yeah.
But one of our very own, ladies and gentlemen, is having a birthday today.
Woohoo!
Our very own Ma Julia, otherwise known as Black Tree,
I think she's like 21.
She must be like 21 or something like that. But she's celebrating a birthday today. I don't know if she's in here or not, but happy birthday, Julia, wherever you are. Hope you've had a magical day, and thank you.
If you're late, you don't get your shout out.
That's right. Well, she's kind of getting one now, so that counts. But,
but she's not getting it now. She's going to have to wait until later.
She'll have to wait till later, but we'll definitely deal it out then. But happy birthday, of course, and hope you're having a great day. We've got a really cool show lined up for you guys today. It's a special guest, his first appearance on the portal, which we're really excited about. His name is Timothy Wade Williams, and Timothy Wayne Williams. I said Wade for some reason. Timothy Wayne Williams, who's a paranormal enthusiast, experiencer, and an incredible artist. And he's joining us today to discuss his journey and his work, and that should be pretty epic. I've got to set it up with a story about how all this came to be, because I've shared it on the show before, but given that he's actually here, we're going to talk about that in person. But yeah, it should be a great journey, and we're really excited to welcome him to the show. But I hope all of you are ready, because it's time to go in. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that means we are underway here. And also, if you have any questions for our guest or want to call in and talk to him at all, you can certainly do that. The numbers for the show are 720-923-0500. Again, 720-923-0500. Those are the numbers for fun right here on the Paranormal Portal, so please, by all means, call in. It'd be great if you want to be a part of the show. So, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Timothy Wayne Williams to the show. How you doing, brother? Welcome to the show.
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great, man. Thanks for being here. And your story started out paranormal with me. I know I've shared that with you, but you got to admit, it really is one of those really bizarre circumstances. So let me explain what happened, ladies and gentlemen, to any of you out there that may not have heard me share this last Friday, on Friday the 13th. But this is how it all boiled down. So as many of you know, we have a Discord server. It's kind of a chat community for the Paranormal Portal. And one of our regulars, Mr. Android Purity, was in the Discord server, and he's like, hey, I just found out I have a cousin I didn't even know about. I'm like, oh, well, cool. And he goes, and she's married to this guy who's this artist that does paranormal paintings. It's really cool. And so then he shared your name, of course, and he shared a painting. And the painting was of Bucks County Paranormal. And I thought, well, that's kind of cool because, we
just happen to know them.
Right. It's one of those things. We happen to know those guys. And so we had Eric on the show, and I said, wow, that's really cool. I know the Bucks County Paranormal guys, or at least one of them. The founder was a guest on our show a couple times, Eric Mantel. He's the guy in the picture with the white hair. He's like, wow, small world, right? Small world. And so we're both just kind of, thought that was neat that you would happen to have done a painting of a group of people that we knew. So that was interesting in and all by itself. So about a few minutes right after I got done talking to Android, I'm like, I got to run to the store. And I live, in walking distance from my house to the store. So I head out the back, and I'm going in, on the way to the store, which is literally like a block and a half away. And I got the urge to check my phone. And so I check my phone, which I rarely ever do when I'm not sitting here at the studio. And and then on top of that, I decided to check my Facebook messages, which I never do outside of here in the studio desk. So I'm walking, I'm stopped on the sidewalk. I pull up my Facebook Messenger, and there's a message from Eric Mintel. Now, Eric and I have been friends for a while. And as I said, he's been a guest on the show, but we don't regularly correspond. I mean, just once in a blue moon, we'll message each other. Hey, how's it going? Hope things are going good, whatever. But he happened to message me on my phone. And just at that point, I'm like, wow, what are the odds of that? So I click on his message, open it up. He's like, oh, how's everything going? Hey, I got this guy you should have on your show. He's really cool. His name is Timothy Wayne Williams, and he's a painter. Check out this painting he did of my group.
And it was the same picture. Nice.
It's the exact same picture.
Yeah.
And so at this point, I'm going, oh, my God, what are the odds that the universe, within 5 minutes, has given me this name saying, you should be on the show. So
it's totally no pressure at all, is it? Like the universe is like, go get on this show. Yeah, scary.
It's pretty bizarre, but I mean, that's the kind of stuff that really cooks your bacon. It's like, how did this happen? I mean, what are the odds of something like this? If it were just chance, what are the odds that something like this would come together?
Sorry, but I was going to say, that's like I was telling you earlier. It's like when Eric, I talk to Eric just every now and then. It's hardly every day or anything. Mm-hmm. And he just out of the blue texted me, and he was like, I think the text was just like, how can I help promote you? Which is just a really weird thing for, someone to send you, And I said, oh, I don't know. I said, I've done a few podcasts, and they were great, and I'd love to do some more. And that's it. He was just like, okay, cool.
I got you.
Such a weird, request. He was just like, tell me how you want me to help promote you, and I still can't get over that. That was so strange, the way he said that.
Yeah, it's really, really a whole series of strangeness, but that's what brought us here today, ladies and gentlemen, and that's why Tim's on the show with us. But welcome, first of all. I'm so glad that we got you on. Thanks for coming on.
No, thank you guys. I really, really appreciate it.
And so I got to ask you, I guess, the first kind of generic question that everybody asks. How did you become interested in the paranormal? What was that for you?
That catalyst.
My family has actually had paranormal stuff happen on and off for a long time. I think I have like a great aunt who may have seen like an angel at the foot of her bed.
Oh, wow.
Who apparently the angel said that she was going to have a child, and that the umbilical cord was going to be wrapped around its neck, and the child was going to die. Ooh. Or something like that. And that's exactly what happened. So that was like folklore in our family for years. Mm-hmm. So that, and my mom has had multiple encounters. She's lived in like several haunted houses. I think she's just dragging a ghost with her, but that must be the only explanation. No one can live in that many haunted houses. But, my dad watched a lot of In Search Of, and I watched that with him, and that definitely sparked my interest, especially in Bigfoot and stuff like that. And there was a book one time that my dad had brought home. It was called, I think it was like a Reader's Digest book, and it was called Strange Stories and Amazing Facts, something like that. And I would just flip through that for hours, and that was just endlessly interesting.
That's really cool.
Between all that wrapped up, and the few experiences that I've had, that's what brings me to here.
That's impressive. I gotta say that back in the day, of course, there wasn't a whole lot of paranormal information out there for, outside of a public library. It's like, so the shows like In Search Of, I thought, were incredibly interesting because it wasn't like a Twilight Zone where they were just making up these really bizarre scripts and stuff. It was Leonard Nimoy talking about all this amazing phenomena and things going on. And it was really pretty revolutionary for the time to have that on primetime television. But I watched that too when I was growing up and found it absolutely amazing. And actually, our stories are very similar in that, I was the young kid looking at all this stuff as well, just catching it everywhere I could. And unfortunately, there wasn't many places to catch it. So, of course, when I did finally get the internet, it was like, whoa, and I can just do it from home. And, I just kind of became even more ravenous about it. But very, very interesting stuff. And the Bigfoot, that always comes up in the Bigfoot discussions when we talk about Bigfoot too. When I talk to researchers and stuff, where'd your journey start? A lot of it is the same thing. I saw Leonard Nimoy in Search Of, and it just made me go, whoa. And that was where they showcased the Patterson-Gimlin film nationwide. And that was, really earth-shattering kind of stuff.
Yeah, I remember my dad calling me into the room. And he was like, you got to see this. There's this living monster, you got to see this. And I remember just being transfixed, and it just blew my mind. And I mean, it really, it shook my worldview. And to this day, it was an amazing thing.
I know. And, the thing also that I was even more blown away by with the Bigfoot phenomena is that basically my understanding of Bigfoot was from what little pieces of information I could glean here and there and in Search Of. And as far as everybody talked about, it was this phenomena in the Pacific Northwest. So as I started diving into this stuff, through my life, it's like, wait a minute, it's not just the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah. Right.
It's everywhere, It's just incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible stuff. But Ghost Magnet in the chat says, they say that about me. I drag ghosts with me, and I couldn't live in that many haunted houses. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you guys talk about like In Search Of and all these shows, I just sit here jealous because I never heard of them until I met this guy over here. I was just that kid that, nothing.
Now ask Don where he grew up, Tim.
Yeah, Don, where'd you grow up?
I grew up on the Olympic Peninsula in Washington, where, it's supposed to be like Bigfoot Central. Had no clue.
It's a full-face lie. It's got to be.
No, it's true. It's true. I swear it.
Yep. So what we were getting from TV, Don was living and didn't even know it was there.
Obliviously.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a funny world. So let's talk a little bit about what you've experienced.
Okay. Well, I'll start out with. There's a couple I've had that I think were almost a little kind of spiritual in a way. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I didn't talk about them for a long time. I didn't know if I'd put them in the realm of paranormal. I saw them more as kind of a spiritual thing.
Sure. Uh-huh.
But as I've gotten older, I felt more like sharing these. I had two things that happened, in a way they were very similar to each other. But when I was a kid, my parents had divorced, and my sister watched me a lot at night. She was quite a bit older, and I was like 13 or 14, and my sister didn't really watch me that close. But she would have these parties, and some of the guys who would come to these parties were a little shady, but I thought they were super cool. Mm-hmm. I totally looked up to these guys, and when my sister wasn't looking, I was, sneaking beers here and there. And I remember just having such a good time at these parties and listening to these friends of hers that had pretty shady past, listening to some of their exploits and everything. And I just remember thinking, wow, these guys just live such a adventurous life. Mm-hmm. And I remember for whatever reason, I just kind of wandered off from everybody else at this party one night. And in case you're wondering, my parents were divorced and my mom was working nights.
Oh.
And I remember going off by myself and sitting down on a chair or a couch or something. And I had this weird feeling come over me. And I heard this voice in my head talking to me. And it was as clear as somebody, speaking to me right in front of my face. Mm-hmm. And it said something to the effect of, doesn't this feel good? Isn't this fun? What we're doing right now, isn't this fun? And it said, you can have this. This can be your life. If you want this, this can be your life. We can make this happen. You can have all this fun. And I opened my eyes and I freaked out. Yeah. Just to hear this in my head, it just blew my mind. And I remember just repulsively backing up, like, no, I know what this is. I do not want this. And I remember it even told me, it said something to the effect of, you're going to cause your family a lot of trouble, but you'll have this life that you want or kind of want.
Sure.
And anyway, so I freaked out. And I remember once I calmed down and I kind of took a deep breath, kind of opened my eyes again. And the first thing I saw was a Bible on the shelf. And I remember that was real meaningful to me somehow. It meant something.
Right.
And that definitely, I felt I was being tested big time, or it was almost like a crossroads situation. Right. In a way. It was like, I was being offered this, all I had to do was just say I wanted it. Mm-hmm. It was really strange. But that was when I was like 13 or 14. Now, flash forward to, I think I was about 16 or 17, and I was playing in a band in high school. Mm-hmm. And we played a lot of cool gigs. And one night we were setting up at this real small club in Anderson, Indiana. And the way I remember this club, there was only like really one way in or one way out. And, well, there was two ways, but one way you would have had to have gone like across a bar and through a kitchen and everything. Oh. For the most part, it was just one way in, one way out. Well, we were there late one night. There was nobody in the bar except the band, maybe our sound guy, and I think a bartender who was going to be there to help us lock up. Uh-huh. Well, we had set up all our equipment and we were testing things out, and we were all gathered around the soundboard in the middle of the bar. And all of a sudden we hear this weird cackling laugh, like really loud cackling laugh, like someone had heard the funniest joke anyone had ever told them. Uh-huh. We all look up, and over on the PA speakers, we had these really big speakers, there was a little man who looked like, you remember Scatman Crothers? He was like the gardener in The Shining, if you remember what that guy looked like. I don't really, but yeah. He was the guy who had The Shining and was telling the little boy about it.
Oh, okay.
He looked like that guy. And the whole band looked at each other and was like, did anyone see this guy come in? That freaked us out first. Yeah. And we're like, why is he laughing? And what is he doing just sitting on our equipment? It was just really strange. Right. Well, he's just still laughing like crazy. And we all kind of look at each other, and everyone's like, you go talk to him. And I'm going, no, you go talk to him. Finally, they kind of pushed me forward. So I got volunteered to go up there. So I kind of sheepishly go up to the guy, and I'm like, hey, what are you doing here? And he's like, hey, come here. I got something to show you. And I had no idea what he was going to pull out.
Sure.
He pulls out a stack of Polaroids this thick, and I'm not kidding you. I don't even know how he could keep his fingers around it. And I won't go into detail. I'm just going to say they were very sexually explicit.
Oh, wow.
And he starts just kind of flinging these down like playing cards. And he was like, "Hey, I can get you some of this." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. He's a pimp or something." You know, I'm like, "Okay, I get it." And then he's like, "I can get you anything." He says, I can get you drugs, I can get you smoke, I can get you whatever you want.
Right.
And at the time, I didn't do anything. And I still don't really.
Right.
And I was like, no, you got the wrong guy. That's not me. That's not for us. You should go. And he was like, no, come back here and talk to me. You know, I'm trying to walk away. Well, eventually I made my way back to the soundboard where the rest of the band is standing there like, what'd he say? And so we kind of huddle up to talk about what this guy said.
Uh-huh.
And no sooner did we kind of huddle up, and you know how you kind of look behind you to see if, make sure he's not listening to what you're saying. I glanced behind my shoulder, and the guy is gone, just flat out gone. No one saw him come in. No one saw him leave, and he just disappeared. Yes. And it was super strange. Freaked us out to no end.
Yeah.
And to this day, I feel like that was another test. You know, that was another kind of like, hey, I mean, the way the guy said, "I can get you anything." Yeah. You know, after he said, no, we're not interested in anything. You know, but he was like, "I can get you anything." Yes. And that freaked me out. So those were the two big ones, I would say.
That's really pretty incredible. And I've been a long time believer that whatever legends are out there, they're based on something. Like there's some form of truth or some piece of truth to that. And I mean, that was the Crossroads, right? That's the Crossroads legend there.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like in a way it happened.
Well, you made the right choice for sure.
I hope.
Yeah.
I hope that's music.
I just think that's so incredibly profound in that, oftentimes we chalk up things like that to, well, it's an allegory. It's just a representation of a moral choice and stuff. But to have experienced that, I think is incredibly profound, incredibly powerful, and also incredibly unnerving. To think,
yeah,
because thinking of a collective, a collective being that represents the dark, the evil, the horrible to me is tough to get my head around. I think that there's certainly evil in the world, and I think that there's certainly evil things in the world, but to have actually sat and been in close proximity to one of these, quote unquote devils, I think is so bizarre and so powerful. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's one of those situations that doesn't come up often. I mean, people have been making the claims. I went to the Crossroads. I did a deal with the devil. But, oftentimes we just, again, think of that as a symbolic thing. But maybe there really is these beings that do just that.
Oh, I absolutely believe it. I really do. I really do.
Wow.
I do know at the time, especially, when I was in high school, I wanted to be a rock star so bad.
Sure.
Matter of fact, I remember going to my guidance counselor, and she was like, "Well, what do you want to do after school?" And then, her laughing at me because I said, "I'm going to be a rock star." It's as simple as that.
Right.
Her laughing at me and me storming out of her office all mad,
Yeah.
And, but I mean, that's how bad I wanted it. So something out there in the universe knew I wanted it pretty bad,
Right. Yeah. There's an old saying that I was always told, and it's, you don't challenge the universe because the universe will answer, and that's one of those things that obviously, and I don't mean to suggest it was, maybe, like you said, maybe it was just a moral test just to see what your character is. But what if it really was like signing away your soul to the devil or that kind of thing? And that's,
I think,
go ahead.
I was just saying, I think it could have been.
Yeah.
It really could have been.
Yeah. I mean, nobody saw the guy come in, nobody saw him leave, but he was very definitely there, that everybody, like, they were able to hear him, see him, and experience his presence there. Did it have a real sickening vibe or like a real twisted vibe to it?
Yes. Yes, when I got up to him. When I first saw him, I was just like, oh no, this guy, he's laughing. He might be drunk. Is he going to be a problem? You know, are we going to have trouble getting him out of here? But as I got closer to the guy, I definitely did get more of a, okay, this is a different kind of, you know, vibe. This is different. This isn't, you know, just, you know, I definitely could tell when I got up to him that he wasn't drunk. I could tell that.
Yeah. But
I mean, he was very, very much sober. He just was creepy as all get out.
I can't imagine. But I think it's, since it ended well, it's a really cool story. If you had made a different choice, then that would have been a very tragic moment in your life, I think. But I think it's a cool story because, you know, you actually came face to face with one of these archetypes. And I think that that's incredibly profound, even though it's kind of a terrible, twisted idea that there's really dark things out there. But, you know, again, it's a good story now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you never did. I remember I asked you this before, but you never did paint that scene, though, huh?
No. I mean, I don't know what I would ever do with it. You know,
Sure.
I guess I wouldn't mind trying to paint it, but, you know, it's like, I wouldn't exactly want it on my wall, and I don't know if anyone else would. So,
you know, there's an interesting thing too, and I kind of when as soon as we were talking, as soon as I asked you that question, I was like, no, maybe it shouldn't be painted. Maybe that's the kind of thing that you don't want to try to preserve that energy into a visual, because energy follows intention, right? So,
and now it's on your wall.
Yeah, and if you put it to a piece of canvas, could that become a quote unquote cursed object just because it would be you're capturing in essence, essentially, as an artist? And is there a metaphysical aspect to that? And I realize that may sound way out there to some of you guys out there, but I think that, you know, we do manifest things, and certainly as an artist, you manifest a vision, and that vision is energy, and that energy comes from somewhere. So I think it's very profound.
I've been asked to put sort of some occultic type things in paintings before, and I just declined. I was like, no, you know, it kind of gives me the creeps, and I just don't want to go that route.
Right. You know? Like I knew I had a friend who actually owned one of John Wayne Gacy's paintings.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he wasn't able to keep it in his house.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Yeah, it just had such a vibe to it, and such a horrible, sickening feeling from just looking at it. I guess he just like, no. He said I liked owning it. He's a collector of curiosities and oddities and things like that. So I mean, this is kind of his thing. But he said, no, I couldn't keep it in my house. I had to keep it in a garage. It was protected, but he said I ended up selling it as soon as I could.
Yeah. It's probably smart. That would freak me out.
Yeah, because I mean, you know the energy of that artist, and I think that, again, this is kind of out there, but I think that you in a sense, and not completely so, but I think I've seen your work, and there is a really cool energy to your work as well, and I don't mean to sound all esoteric and stuff, but I really do believe in this stuff. But I think that, you know, when something is painted by a twisted mind, there's something of that
it becomes a tulpa.
Right. It becomes a tulpa. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good. I kind of believe that. I mean, they did some experiment one time where they had people paint, and I think they were trying to determine which ones were painted in an insane asylum and which ones weren't, or something. And it was like, you could kind of tell the people that were disturbed. The paintings just looked different, you know. Okay. Just, and not just subject matter. I mean, just the way they were painted, the strokes, the brush strokes themselves were, can't think of a good word for it, but they were just off.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think you are almost, in some sense, it's almost a mediumistic thing for you to take something as an artist, to take an idea or some thought that you're having, and then to record it. And the same is true for writers. I think that, there is a bit of, quote unquote channeling involved in this. Like, it may be your higher self, it may be another intelligence or whatever, but you are creating a mediumistic approach to take that from, whether it's in your head or in the universe, and put it onto a piece of canvas so that people can see and appreciate it.
Right.
That is so true. There have been times where I've been painting, and I'm telling you, some painters call it like getting into the zone, or there's some other things where you're kind of not in control. It's like your body's kind of gone on autopilot, and you're just kind of going with it. I call it like letting the painting lead me. Mm-hmm. And you would not believe, I would say probably about the last dozen paintings I've done, probably I've just sat down on a blank canvas and just started painting. I'll just make a few strokes and just see where it goes, or I'll just start a sky and just wait to let it lead me where it wants to go. And there are definitely times where I've painted where I've been like, I don't know where that came from. There's no way I would have thought of that. Right. So I think there definitely is this kind of spiritual something, that can guide you. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's like Brent was talking about, authors and people who write, people who paint, people who create, even the great masters, the statue builders, carvers, they have this thought, and that's what they're doing, is they're creating a form for this thought, and they're putting it in some kind of permanent medium or semi-permanent medium in some cases. But, it does become some kind of, I'm going to stick with the word tulpa, because it is your intent to put your thought on this physical thing to manifest it in whatever way. Now, it's intent that gives it breath and life. Mm-hmm. So, you talk about, just getting into that zone and something comes out and you look at it and you go, wow, that's incredible. Or, maybe once in a while you go, that's just rubbish, because it happens, we sit down to write, or we sit down to do a podcast or something like that. And it just comes out, it's just tripe. It's like, okay, we got to redo this. It's something we got to redo, because even we as podcasters and YouTubers, there are good shows, there are bad shows, there are awesome shows, there are mediocre shows. And you just kind of want to get rid of the, you want to take the bad shows back. And sometimes, especially when we're talking about paranormal stuff, and Brent brings it up a lot, do we call that, and this is where I'm ultimately going, do we call that to us by talking about it? Mm-hmm. And in your case, are you bringing it towards you with the opening of your mind to be in the zone? Are you opening yourself to something fantastical? Not necessarily bad or anything like that, but something fantastical. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think it's sort of a state of being where you've completely opened your mind up, and it's almost like you're open to suggestions. Mm-hmm. It's like I said, like sometimes I'll just sit down and I'll just put a couple strokes and just look at what I painted, and I'm like, okay, where should this go? And I just wait for it to come to me. Mm-hmm. And so I do think, sometimes I do kind of wait for that little thing in my head to show itself. Right. And, so I'm not sure if that answers your question, but that's kind of, I think, along the lines of what we're talking about.
Well, do you think it could possibly act as a channel to channel something else? Like they talk about a Ouija board, an open Ouija board being a portal or some kind of doorway. Well, portal, same thing, huh? Do you think art can be the same way? Depending on the the state of mind that you're in at the time, even with the, huh? Go ahead.
Yes. Oh, yes, definitely.
There you go. Yeah.
And yeah, definitely. I feel you definitely can channel that kind of stuff. I think it can go a good way and a bad way.
Right.
Hopefully whatever, is coming through me, I hope is good.
Oh, sure.
I certainly hope, but I feel it is. I feel it's positive. So yeah, I think it definitely can channel like that.
Right. Sure.
Very cool.
Absolutely.
Ghost Magnet, one of our chatters on YouTube, says it's incredible that Tim was approached at such an early age, because that would mean that he has something they want to control.
Someone else said that to me one time about that, and I don't know. Maybe whatever plan. Maybe they want to stop. That is happened.
Right.
I don't think it's happened in my life yet, so I don't know. I don't know. Maybe
that's a great point. Yeah, I mean, is it all mapped out, and you still have yet to do your major part of some other plan? That's a good point. Titan says, Brent and Don, great point. Painting, writing, etc. Intention begets intention. They inspire us.
Right.
Yeah.
I was going to mention that I wish I remembered which author it was, but there's been several authors who have claimed that the main characters in their books, they actually felt like they had come to life, and they would actually see them from time to time.
Right.
Yep.
That definitely is kind of a Tolpa type thing.
Right. Rachel gets it right. One of our other chatters says, interesting idea. Augustine Rodin sculpted the gates of hell and created individual pieces from that. The thinker is at the very top, smaller than the full-size work, of course. So, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. The gates of hell. And did that lead to him becoming more? Was that his quote unquote, contract?
Right. Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, I was going to say, as a musician too. I mean, I don't think I'd ever call myself a musician. I'm just a person that, I don't know, music is my therapy in a lot of ways. Like, it's how I get rid of energy and process things. I just always feel like it's my individual therapy. But haven't you ever had one of those times, or maybe several times? This has happened to me, and I'm always blown away by it. But a lot of songs come out like, boom, they're done. I've sat down with my guitar and sang and performed a song that I had never heard, never learned. It just kind of flowed out of me. And I just, I'm lucky enough that I happened to be recording at the time, but it's just one of those things that it was like it was done somewhere and waiting for that channel to come through. And it's just a really cool experience.
Oh yeah, those times are magical.
Yeah.
I've written many songs with lots of people, and boy, when it clicks and stuff, it is magical and very cool, and keeps you coming back.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of arts, I think it was Michelangelo, when somebody was talking to him about his sculpting, he said, well, how do you know what you're going to do? Do you know beforehand? He goes, no, I just start hitting at the marble until the sculpture comes out of it. It's like,
he releases it.
Yeah. It's like, so it's like these things exist and are waiting for the hands of these individuals like yourself to pull them into the realization. I love that word realization, because it's making real, and certainly, these works are incredible. And your works, which we'll showcase and talk about in a few minutes, I think are really incredible too. And you can tell that it's not just a matter of depicting a scene. It's like there's a flow to your work, and there's a story in it. And I think that's really exciting.
Cool.
Yeah. But I think this is really a great topic to discuss, because and one of our other chatters said, like poetry and songwriting too. Yeah, it's all of these creative aspects and creative endeavors, I think are okay, so boiling it down to, the nutshell in my mind, I think that we are incredibly potent and able creator beings. Like we do manifest our world in our life. And I think that the arts are certainly one of the ways we do it. Now that may sound like I'm being symbolic, like, but I mean that quite literally. Like, I think that we do create our experience. We create our moments. We create our tragedies. We create our triumphs. And it's not just, hey, good choices mean good things. It's not just that whole idea, but I think that it's an incredibly potent and powerful thing that we don't give ourselves enough credit for,
Yeah, I agree. It can be that way. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So how much in your work, how much would you say comes to you that way, where you're kind of the couple of strokes and you just let the story tell itself as you're creating? Is it most of your work that's your flow?
It is now. It wasn't. I used to do a lot of take a lot of reference photos and paint from photographs and everything, and that was fine. But yeah, I love the not knowing what's going to happen when I sit down to paint it. Mm-hmm. I love that feeling, and that's what I really like now. I used to do a lot of commissions over the years, and really I only take 2 or 3 a year now, just because I don't want to paint anybody else's idea. I want to do what I want to do. I want to see what happens. I want this, whatever this is, to come out of me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it's interesting that you said it is now, because I think that, like anything else, it can be an act, a very forceful act, a very energetic act to create something. Whether it's a house, whether it's a sculpture, whether it's building a patio or something, but it does take an investment, and there's a process. But as you do these things, and as you're tapping into that part of yourself, it becomes more natural and more natural. And now, like even like a medium doing readings, at first it's very awkward and very uncomfortable. But as you find that rhythm and that flow, that act becomes easier, I would think, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm amazed what letting go of what I felt like I should be doing. Mm-hmm. There's a really great artist named Kwang Ho, who is got a great style. He's just a wonderful, wonderful painter. Uh-huh. He's so great that everybody is trying to be him. And so was I. I was right there trying to learn his styles. I loved it. It was so cool, and so I was painting a lot of flowers, a lot of still lifes, trying to paint some figurative stuff. And I just realized, I'm just banging my head against a wall and never be as amazing as this guy. Mm-hmm. And I was just kind of like, I'm just going to paint for myself and just see what happens. And as soon as I started doing that, my career just blew up, mm-hmm. Compared to what it was. And, and everyone, had told me, you're painting the wrong way. You shouldn't do it like that. And I finally was just like, I'm not going to try to paint like everyone else, thinks I should paint. Right. And I'm going to paint what I want and how I, and how I want. Right. And it feels like we were talking about the universe giving you, kind of a nod. I really did feel like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, because it's coming more natural. I'm getting better, quicker, and people are really responding to it. So that's
right. Well, you kind of said something there though, and if you think about what if people were telling you, well, that's not the way to do it, they were kind of right, because you were doing somebody else's work, not yours. That's not the way you do it. So think back on it and go, you know what? Yeah, that's kind of right. And they were right. They were just the wrong way right, Right. Somebody asked in the chat, they said, when you're in that zone, how is your time? Does the time just go away? Does it just melt and you're just in that zone? And when it's done, it's done?
Yeah, absolutely. I listen to a lot of music too while I'm playing. And then, sometimes between the music and being in that zone, hours will go by. Mm. And there have been times I know I've sat in front of an easel for easily 12 hours and didn't move, and didn't realize it. Totally did not realize it. Just wander out of, the room I use as a studio, just kind of stumble out of there. And, my wife's like, you've been in there all day, and, I think you can totally get so focused, in what you're doing and just enjoying it, really the pleasure of it.
Right.
And time will just fly. You have no concept of time.
Yeah. I think you hit an important point too in what you were saying before about, the time when you and everybody else was trying to emulate this artist. And it kind of reminds me of back when I was in a band and I had this collection of people and we played clubs and bars and things. And of course we were a cover band, but it just dawned on me one day. It's just like, if what we're trying to do is to play other people's stuff, we're automatically going to fail by comparison because, you're automatically going up against those people that are famous for that sound and that song.
It's like all those people playing Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah, exactly. And why it's outlawed.
One of those people. I played it good, though.
Yeah. So, but the point being is that, until you find your own process, until you find your own expression,
right.
If you try to copy someone else, it's going to be you're going to fail because you're not that person. Yeah.
I tell any young bands I've worked with or any, young songwriters, I tell young bands, become young songwriters.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to get your chops up, obviously, learning other people's music. That's great, but start immediately writing songs.
Yeah.
Even if you know just 2 chords, 3 chords, start writing songs. It'll pay off.
Yep.
So
I agree with that a lot. In fact, most popular bands like U2 and Coldplay and those, and that's obviously not everybody loves those bands, but
who's Coldplay?
But my point being is that when they started doing their thing, they really didn't know how to play, but they developed by doing that, including I think REM was the same way. It's like they didn't start being prodigious musicians. They started learning their instruments as they were learning to express their own emotion through
like
the songs.
The Sex Pistols.
Yeah, that might be cool. Might be true. I don't know a lot about the Sex Pistols, but I think they're kind of a train wreck, right?
a little bit.
So I think that's important to be able to find your own expression, and certainly with your paintings that goes without saying. You've got a very unique style, but it's really got a great flow and that what I was going to do is pull those up. Are you ready to start talking about those?
Sure. Okay. Let's do it.
Let's do it. I gotta get this up here, and I think I already got it open somewhere. There it is. All right, so we're looking at the one that we were just discussing right before the show. I was like, God, it looks like a TR3B.
Yeah. This one, I believe, is named. I named so many. I think this one's called Forward Observer.
Oh.
And this one was inspired by a lot of the triangle painting or the triangle UFO sightings.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that super interesting. And it's not really any deep meaning behind this other than I wanted the triangle to be really subtle.
Yeah.
Almost like you could look at the painting and then not notice it, and then maybe come back by it the next day and walk by and go, hey, wait a minute, what is that?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of what I was going for with this one. I like the subtle paranormal little twist in there. I don't like it to be too obvious.
Right. Now, why a TR3B? Why that particular type, or why did you go alien on this, shall we say?
Well, no real reason other than I had done some round UFOs, and I don't know why, but the triangle shape I just found kind of interesting that day. and I just wanted to put that in there. No real reason other than just to change it up a little bit, throw in a different kind.
I really have to say though, I do like the landscape itself. You know, the cliffs and the water spraying up along the cliffs and things. And then that TR3B is, or that's triangle. Let's say a triangle, because we don't know if it's TR3B, right? So there
true.
you go. But it's just kind of obscured. Yeah, it's kind of just in the background enough. Yeah, absolutely. That's actually really cool.
I love the way that
I want it to look a little bit like, if you were having a real sighting.
Right.
Yes.
And what, like you were, let's say, on the other side of on these rocky cliffs, and you just kind of looked up, and, maybe that's what you caught a glimpse of, that, at that second. Yeah. So I kind of like doing that.
I love the way that it's poking through the mist or the fog or the cloud or whatever. That is so powerful. Like it's like you said, it's not in your face. It's not just right out there, but it's there, and it has like a mysterious presence to it, a mysterious feel to it. That's really powerful.
Yeah, that's.
I want my paintings to invite you to figure out the story.
Create a story.
My paintings are very. I tell people my paintings aren't really meant to, like I told you earlier, they're not really meant to go behind a couch. It's kind of like, how you come into someone's house and they have, some artwork on their walls. You could walk in and out of that house and not remember that piece of wall art at all.
Yeah.
I feel like mine invites you to know you got to stop. Right. You got to stop and look at this. There's something here. You need to figure it out. And you make up the story. Right. So I like to say that my paintings make you have to be interactive with it. In a way.
Now, can I ask?
It inspires your imagination.
Right. Now, is this a canvas or is this some other type of base media that you used?
I think everything you'll probably show today is on canvas. I do wood and sometimes panel every now and then, but I think that's definitely on canvas. I know that for sure.
Yeah, it's got great texture. It's a great picture of that too, because you can see the texture in it, and it's just the texture just adds to the cliffs. Okay, now I'm just kind of being art geeky, but that's what happens. So, but I think it's great. I think it's awesome.
I appreciate it.
I do too. It has a vibe of suspense too, because you don't know, is that just one of them, or is there more coming, or what are they doing? The same kind of things you would classically ask in any UFO sighting. It's like, well, what does this mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That's where I'm at with this. It's like, ooh, what's going on? Is this how it starts, or is this just an independent observer? What's going on here?
Right.
But it's just got a really good vibe, a really good energy. Huh. When did you paint this?
This past year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Couldn't tell you exactly when. Maybe early March-ish.
Now, do you actually hear reports and that kind of inspires your vision, or is this?
Yeah. I listen to tons of podcasts like yours and everybody else's, and that's how I got started, believe it or not. I was painting just a normal landscape one day, and I was listening to, I think it was Sasquatch Chronicles.
Oh, we don't know them.
No. I mean, it was some other horrible... Nice. It was an unnamed podcast that dealt with Bigfoot, and they were just talking about Bigfoot. And while I was painting the painting, I just thought it'd be funny to stick a little Bigfoot in the background. Didn't think anything about it,
right. Mm-hmm.
And I just thought it was amusing, I liked the idea of like someone buying that painting and not knowing it's there. And, and kind of like I said about the one,
yeah,
I like the idea of someone walking by it, especially with the Bigfoot paintings that I've done where it's like really hidden. I love the idea of maybe 3 years down the road from, owning that painting, they just happen to walk by and just catch it at just the right angle, at just the right light.
Yeah.
And then like, hey, wait a minute, what is that?
Right.
So I bet I sold maybe a dozen paintings that have Bigfoot in them, and I never told the people who bought the paintings. I just didn't think anyone would be that interested.
That's awesome,
so
though.
awesome.
Hey, is that a Bigfoot in that painting?
They'll wonder if it's like paranormal. I think the Bigfoot just appeared. It wasn't there when I bought it.
Yeah, I should have said that. Yeah. But no, I've had people, approach me and go, hey, is there a Bigfoot in my painting? I just, I heard about you doing this now.
Uh-huh.
And they're disappointed when I tell them no. Like, oh, sorry, I didn't do it.
There's no happy little squatch hiding behind the happy little tree.
My trees aren't happy, though. These are my trees, so they're full of bitterness and self-doubt. So, not happy. So.
Nice. That is an awesome picture. I love that painting.
I know. I was just thinking I would put this above my couch for sure.
Well, but we're different kind of people.
We are. We're a different breed, but it's very powerful.
What you got next, Brent?
Well, hold on. Let me resize it so I can actually pick the next one. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So the next one, this is beautiful. It's kind of a...
Oh, I see him.
Well, hold on now. Oh, it's a wintry landscape, looking like you're looking forward to a yellow sun hue, but you don't see the sun. You're just looking through the thick forest.
It's the light at the end of the foresty tunnel.
Yeah. Is it on your screen? Okay.
I keep going back to the winter theme and again. I'm not sure why, but this one I wanted it to also look a little bit like, is this a portal to somewhere?
Yeah.
Is this and there is a hidden Sasquatch in it, and the other question I wanted there to be is this a good path to follow or a bad path?
Right.
Yeah.
Do you find this scary or intriguing? So all my stuff kind of has that element to it. You can, take it as frightening or beautiful or a little bit of both, or if, like I said, if nothing else, I just want you to find it interesting. I want you to wonder more about it, like what's on the other side of that path.
Right. Yeah, let's look at what's on the other side of that path. Oof. There he is, folks. He's sitting there waiting for you.
But then again,
That's
is
beautiful.
he standing there protecting the path?
Yeah, well, that's the $1 million question. That's beautiful, though. I mean, just the brush strokes, the composition is really powerful. I really love this one. Now, do you do prints? Do you do prints or you just do originals?
I have just recently started doing prints. I work with a company called Fine Art America that does all my prints. I supply them with the images, and then they actually take care of having the prints made and everything. So, yeah, Fine Art America, if you go to there and just look for Timothy Wayne Williams, you'll find all the stuff I have available for prints. Not all my stuff is yet. I usually wait for the originals to sell before I make a print of it.
Now, how do they do that? I'm just curious as a curiosity. But do they make the prints off of like a photo, or do they scan them, or what? How is that done?
It's all digitally done.
Okay.
They use several. They use very large format digital printers. I mean, you can get a shower curtain with that on it. It's crazy.
Oh, nice.
All this, or coffee mugs. It's amazing. This technology is really, in the last 10 years, really blown up to do this kind of stuff. So you don't necessarily have to go to a printer anymore and, take them, your images and have a process camera photograph and stuff like that.
Sure.
You can do so much digitally now. It's amazing. And then the quality is really good too.
Yeah. Again, this is what I find really cool about this is there's contrast, like the yellow and gives it warmth, and yet it is winter. So there's a coldness to it as well. That's
I do that theme a lot too.
Well, that's a powerful theme.
And cold kind of thing.
Yeah, very powerful, very, very incredible, and it really pulls your eyes into this yellow space. It's like, ooh, what is down there? It's the great unknown, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. That's awesome. Okay, let's check out the next one. Oh, okay, let me pull this one up a little bit, make it more full. That's again like another portal there. And I'm not going to say anything because you and I already talked about this one, right?
Yeah, this one is one of my more recent favorites. Matter of fact, I have it here because I thought I might talk about this. I don't know if you could. Can you see this? All right.
Hold on.
I know it's on the screen, but I wanted to show you.
Yeah.
If you see on this part of the painting, the shadows are going a different way than the middle part of the painting.
Right. Yeah.
So at first glance it just looks like a winter scene. You're going over, maybe some branches form almost kind of a circular shape, and you're going to go through it. But if you look, the shadows are going two different directions. Once you step through this archway, they're going a different way. And I wanted it to be kind of a missing 411 type thing. Kind of like, there have been reports of people, the missing 411 type stuff where they've been in the woods and had been, walking along a trail and suddenly they just felt like they were somewhere else,
Right.
And that's kind of what I was going for with that. I wanted it to look like,
right.
You entered another realm and there was only a slight hint that you were, at first glance, you would never notice it. But if you really stop, once you see it in the painting, once you see, those shadows of the trees are going a totally different direction. Once you cross through that archway, once you see it, you sort of can't unsee it.
Right.
So that's kind of what I was going for with that one.
Yeah.
How long does a painting take you, generally?
Everyone says I paint really fast.
Okay.
It's not that I paint fast. I paint a lot. So I would say I do about one painting a week.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
But I have like 2 or 3 going, in some various.
Okay. So there's different stages of completion, yeah?
Stages of completion, yeah.
Yeah. Very nice. That is beautiful.
Cute.
I actually do like that idea of the shadows because when I looked at it, I went, there's something not quite right, but it wasn't discordant. It was just kind of different.
Yeah.
And so, not worrisome in my estimations, but that's really cool.
Is this intentional here?
Yes, it is. I almost forgot that was in there. Yeah.
I love it. I was about to change it. I'm like, hey, somebody's looking at me.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I'm sorry. I don't mean to give away all the little clues, but that one.
No, that's fine. Okay. That's half the fun.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's exactly it. I was just like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm being observed.
A tree peeker.
Yeah, exactly. A tree peeker. Oh, let me get back.
I paint a lot of tree peekers.
Well, it's got to be I know it's a pretty popular theme. A lot of I have to say, I think the Sasquatch community is probably one of the most active paranormal communities out there. I mean, they are the people that are following Bigfoot, Sasquatch, worldwide. They just seem to have this incredible drive for more information. And so there's a lot of shows out there right now, but I just think these kind of things are amazing, and it's powerful too. I think you could make people into art lovers just with this kind of work. Like, I don't know that, and I'm not trying to belittle anybody, so don't take this the wrong way, but sometimes there's some type of people that I don't care, just paint it, whatever.
Right.
But I think that, since you're embodying so many themes that so many people are passionate about,
right.
I think it really creates a real drive and appreciation for the efforts and what you're depicting.
It's definitely struck a chord with the paranormal community.
Yeah.
I mean, they've totally embraced me. It's been amazing. Everyone's been great.
Yeah.
And I would say even especially the Bigfoot community is really, I've made some really good friends just in the past couple of years doing this.
Oh yeah,
And yeah, it's good people, really.
absolutely. Ooh, this one's really, really cool. There's like it's beautiful and warm, but it's almost stark and lonely too. Wow.
Yeah, this one was kind of a challenge. I had a customer who wanted a commission, but they were real vague about it. And they said, it'd be cool if you did kind of a warm scene with a little cabin and maybe a broken bridge.
Mm.
And they ended up not really wanting the painting. I showed it to them and they were like, that's not exactly what we were thinking. I said, that's fine. No problem. Not a problem. So I went and I back into it and I changed it to more like what I would have wanted if I, wasn't being kind of guided by what my patron wanted. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I went back in and I, changed a few things around a little bit to where I liked it. But I left a couple elements, like they wanted, a small cabin and then the broken bridge. Mm-hmm. I still don't know why they had talked about a broken bridge, but I liked that concept. I liked okay, maybe there isn't anywhere you can immediately escape to or go to.
Right.
And I liked the idea of maybe you're a little stranded, even though, there's a lot of area behind them, but, maybe there's, you need to go across that bridge for something.
Right. Right.
But, I just like the story to it, I guess.
Yep.
Or the potential story.
Yeah, it really does. These paintings really do tell a story, and that's what I think is really powerful, is that they're not just, look at the sunset, look at the sunset, look at the waves. There's more going on, and it encourages you to look deeper, mm-hmm. Is there anything hidden in this one?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
All right, don't tell me.
Okay.
This
one ended up being, matter of fact, it's this month. It's August in my calendar. I put out a calendar for this year, and this was August.
Oh, very cool. I'm not seeing anything yet.
You need to go to the right. Yeah, keep going that way.
Okay. This is as right as I can go.
Yeah.
It's not up in the sky.
Well, he's also behind a little bit. So.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Maybe I'm zoomed in too much. Maybe I should step back a little.
Yeah, you'll want to zoom out a little bit. And do you want me to give you like a big hint?
Well,
I'll say right corner.
Right corner.
Oh, ha 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 ha. Yeah. He's waving.
He's waving.
He's waving.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, right
See,
there.
he's like looking into the.
Yeah, he's
looking.
looking.
Yeah, he's got his arm around it.
Yep.
Yeah,
very
waving,
good.
But yeah.
God, that is so subtle. But you're right, it's there. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's really powerful.
That's actually really cool.
I had a lady just contact me yesterday about the painting. This one in the calendar. Apparently, her and her class like looking at each month of my calendar, and everyone trying to find the Bigfoot. And she said that her calendar had water damage, and they were frantically wondering where the Bigfoot was. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, beautiful.
I think this one's kind of in a spooky way, in a spooky vein. That's like the spooky cabin, and you can't get to it because the bridge is broken. Mm-hmm. But really, would you really want to go over there, especially, if there might be tree peekers over there, and that kind of thing. So that's the way I'm looking at it, is, do you want to go there?
You know what I'm seeing is that the broken bridge is suddenly way more significant.
Yes.
Because this guy is here.
Yeah.
with the house. So if you got to get out, you're not going to use the bridge. Oh man, that is really powerful. Yeah. Very, very cool. All right, I got to go out a little more. There we go. All right, here we come with the next one.
Oh, yeah.
This one, the Bucks County Paranormal.
Oh, is that what this one is?
Yeah, this is Eric's head.
That's Eric, yeah.
Yep, Eric's head. Very cool. And obviously, ladies and gentlemen, you don't need my help there. There's the Bigfoot.
Yeah. These are kind of.
Look at.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I did not notice the saucer at first.
I have to say, at the end of this light beam, though, it looks like a little ghosty there.
It does, doesn't
Yeah.
it? Wow, this is really cool. There's all kinds of Easter eggs hidden in this one.
Yeah. Did you notice anything about the windows of the mansion that are lit?
The two upstairs, of course, are the only ones lit. They look like the Amityville Horror.
Zoom in a little
Exactly. That was my
okay.
little shout out to
Gotcha.
Amityville Horror.
bit. There you go. Yep.
That is really cool. Wow, this is awesome.
Yeah. Eric was really vague on what he wanted, other than that'd be neat if, me and the guys were just like, we just happen to be wandering upon, I don't know, a Bigfoot or a UFO or a ghost, whatever, And I was like, I'll just put everything in there. My bases on that one.
No, that's good, man. You got the whole laundry list covered. That's awesome. Very, very cool. Very strong, very powerful. I bet you he loved it. I know he loved it because he
showed it to you.
He reached out to me.
He's like, you got to talk to this guy.
This is the picture that
This is
keeps
the
coming
catalyst.
at me. Yep. This is the one picture, ladies and gentlemen, that brought Tim to the show.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next one here.
Wow.
Oh man, that is awesome.
Oh yeah, there he is.
Yeah. But it's very powerful. I like I like how your center of focus changes on these
Right.
images so much too. It's not like everything is right in your face.
Right, straight down the barrel. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's incredible. This is beautiful.
This one's got a few. This one, you guys know Amy Boo, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, she owns this one.
Oh really?
She owns a couple of my pieces, and she has this one, and she may have bought one of my favorite paintings ever. This one, I really was happy with how this one came out. It came out, it has like a nice misty vibe. I even like, if you look real close, there's footprints.
Yep.
In the foreground there.
Yep.
And like how those came out. It's the only thing, believe it or not, in this painting that I wish I could redo a little bit is the Bigfoot itself. I think I could have done it a little better.
I think
I think I was in such a big hurry to get it in front of people. I always paint the Bigfoot or ghost or whatever I put in the painting. I always do it last.
Oh, really?
And it's in a big hurry. I just loved the painting. I wanted to show people. It was like, oh yeah, I got to put a Bigfoot in this thing or something. So, but it's not terrible. I just think I could do maybe a little bit better with the Bigfoot. I actually had a guy approach me, and he loved this painting so much. He was like, would you mind doing something a lot like it? And I said, well, I had planned on doing something similar. And I was like, yeah, I could probably do something eventually. And so I did something. And each time I'd show him my progress, he kept saying, I really want it to look a little bit more like, Early Snow, which is the name of this painting.
Oh.
It finally, he just admitted to me, he's like, I want Early Snow. Can you recreate it?
Just recreate it.
So I called Amy, and I'm like, I got a guy who wants me to basically completely reproduce your painting. Are you okay with that? Because in a way I look at it like, it's hers now,
Sure.
She has a one of a kind, and I don't want to paint something. I mean, it'll always be a one of a kind, but I don't want to paint something that, looks so close that you wouldn't feel like it's a one of a kind. And she was super cool about it. And
wow.
so I basically painted that twice. It was pretty close. They were actually really close to how they looked. I was surprised.
Is that a tree structure?
Yeah, I was just seeing, is this a tree structure over here?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. Very, very awesome. Yeah, and I didn't see that initially either. I love that. It's like unwrapping a present, right? Mm-hmm. Each one of these images has so much going on to it, so much thought put into them. It's just really beautiful. And I love the canopy up here, how that really closes the scene in. Right. Because anybody that's been out in the forest, you do feel like there's a ceiling to it. There's a ceiling to the forest.
Right.
And it's the tree canopy, and this really has that feel and that vibe. I mean, you did a brilliant job. I can see why this is one of your favorites.
I appreciate that very much.
Wow. Yeah, Amy's got a good taste.
Apparently so, yeah.
She's great.
Now, is this one of those pieces you do have prints of?
Yes.
Okay.
My Fine Art America. You
Yeah.
can get prints of this. Yep.
Yeah, I think this one would be huge for sure.
Mm.
It just has so many of the elements. And
Who got this as a print? So
I'm sorry.
I wasn't. I liked it. A lot of people did. I was super happy about it.
Yeah.
Nice.
And you can see why. I mean, it's just really, as soon as it hit the screen, I was like, and I didn't get a chance to really look through the paintings before the show. So a lot of these, even though I glanced at them and make sure, when you're setting up a show, it's just a matter of making sure the pieces are all ready. But now I can sit back and experience them with everybody. Mm-hmm. And I just gotta, I'm just blown away by the power of these, that they really do have an energy, just like we were talking about at the top of the show. There's an energy to these.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Okay, let's go to this one. Oh, this is
wow.
cool. Wow, I love the contrast. Now this one feels like a portal to me. It's like you're leaving some coldness and you're heading to the warmth.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
late early spring.
Yeah, this I was going for on this one. I'll say up front on this one, just so no one ruins their eyesight looking. There's nothing hidden in this one. This one, I wanted the whole surrealness of the scene to speak for itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I wanted another, case of one of those things when you just might walk by it and it might not immediately grab you. But I mean, if you look, you go from hardcore frozen snow and ice to a super sunny, warm setting. And this, again, to me is kind of a missing 411 kind of thing, maybe you step through another realm, maybe you were just hiking in the snow, in wintertime, and all of a sudden you look up and just up ahead, all you got to do is cross this bridge and you're in this sunny, beautiful,
You'd almost expect the fairies to be flying around back here.
Yeah, I
mean, fae.
I can see that being a hot spring, and you just losing yourself in the hot spring.
Yeah,
I do a lot of bridges. Something about the theme of crossing over and going. Something. Someone could read some Freudian stuff about change in my life or something. I don't know, but I definitely just. Bridges are constantly showing up in my work for some reason, and I can't really put my finger on it.
Yeah, well, I can tell you this one to me, if I was going to say that a painting really was a snapshot to my life, it's like this is the real world, the cold, rigid place, and this is the paranormal to me. It's this warm, lush world of possibility. And that's why I love doing this show and having these discussions, because for me, it's like going from here to here. I just feel like I love talking about the ideas, the magic, the mystery, the fact that the world still has so much to discover. And in a visual image, this is exactly what it says to me. Like this is the doorway into the fantastical, the where the impossible is real. Right. This is the way.
And a lot of the people in the chat are saying, they can imagine there being fae there. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I've heard that many times, and I agree. Yeah, definitely.
If you ever do another one like this, like hide some fairies around, that'd be awesome.
I thought about it. I've been asked to do it many, many times. I need to do it. I just haven't quite been inspired yet to do it, but I'm sure I will.
Not so much fairies. I wouldn't go for fairies. I'd go for dryads.
Ooh, there you go.
Tree spirits, that kind of thing.
No, that's a great idea too.
Yeah. It is. Nice job. We have talked about stories like this on the show. People talk about going through the forest and then suddenly they just take a step, or they duck under a bough of a tree or something, and suddenly they're somewhere else. They're transported into this other place. And it can be, the difference between a normal hardwood forest and stepping into a tropical area, like the day is the night, the weather is different, so many times. And the theme that always comes up is then they stop and take some steps back and they're in the normal world. And,
Bridge to Terabithia.
Terabithia. Oh,
people have described it as a visual representation of the Oz effect.
Sure.
And I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
Yep. Absolutely. Very cool. Let's check out the next one. Oh,
Ooh.
this one's got this has got a stark loneliness to it, doesn't it?
It does.
It's funny when you guys do that. All I hear is the woo and ooh, and I have no idea what you're looking at yet because it doesn't come right up.
Yeah, it's
so
that
I'm
leg.
speculating. What could that one be? So,
So what's the story with this one?
this one was, not. I mean, I think I did set out when I painted this. Like I say, most of the time I just sit down and just start painting. This one I definitely knew I wanted to use 3 colors. I just wanted to use white, black, and a little bit of blue.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to do something that almost looked like an old weathered black and white photograph.
Mm-hmm.
And, so, yeah, it went through a few reiterations here and there. I moved the chimney around a few times. On my Facebook site, you can actually see progress photos of this. I took, when I first kind of started laying it out, and as I went along, I took pictures, and some people find that really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You can see how I moved the fireplace around a little bit. I didn't like where I had it. This one actually has, I call it 1 and possibly a half ghost in it.
Oh yeah.
One could be a ghost or maybe not. It's kind of up to you. I'm kind of on the fence on whether I meant to put it in there or not.
I have to say right off though, I mean, because when this popped up, the first thing I noticed for some reason was the chimney.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just seemed like there was something about it. And now that you've said that you've moved it, it wasn't right to begin with. And so that's probably what I noticed. But honestly, the first thing I noticed was the chimney itself, because of the small detail you put into the small little details you put into the bricks of the chimney itself.
Yeah.
Stuff's fun to paint. I love painting stuff like that. It's the illusion of detail. I mean, if you really were up close and looked at it, you'd realize it's not as much detail as it looks.
Yeah.
It's just the illusion of detail.
So to the left of the door, is that the half?
No.
No, because that looks like the bottom half of a woman with a skirt and her feet.
Oh, okay. I kind of see that.
I was thinking of a little crouching child ghost or something.
Sure.
But this is
Yeah.
one that I was thinking. Looks like she's like it's a woman with dark hair wearing some kind of formal dress or something. Is that right?
No.
Okay. All right.
Well, there's a lot of pareidolia in this too. So
Yeah.
Oh, you would not believe the people who get mad at me when they go, I found the, like someone has like told me, like I did one that just had a ghost in it one time. They're like, we saw the dog man too. And I'm like, there's no dog man in there. It gets bad. I get people like, oh, really? Then what is this? And they'll circle it and they'll send it back. And I'll go, oh, yeah, I guess I can sort of see that. And then they're like, are you serious? You did not put that in there. And I'm like, no, I didn't. That's, it's pareidolia.
Well, see, this is. Yeah, so and this is one of those ones. It's like, where was your mind? Where were you while you were doing it too? Is this just kind of well, anytime a painter paints something or a sculpture sculpts something, it's a moment in time, and where were you in that moment? Where were you? And I'm just throwing it out there, postulating. You don't have to give me an answer, but where were you mentally, or where were you emotionally when you did this painting? You know what I mean? It's just those ideas. It's what we're experiencing now, manifesting itself into this image.
I think I was thinking about, I was very nostalgic. I'm a very nostalgic person anyway, but I was thinking about the little small town I grew up in. And we used to go out, as kids do when you're in high school, and we'd try to find abandoned houses. And we saw a lot that looked similar to this. This wouldn't have been out of the ordinary at all from where I grew up. And I think my mind kind of went back to that, but I wanted to make it even older, an older feel. And that's what I went with, kind of the black and white kind of look.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really got a cool vibe, and it really. I mean, as soon as it hit
I spent a lot of time in these homes when I shouldn't have been.
It's just as soon as it hit the screen, both Don and I at the same time, I'm like, whoa. So it's really powerful though. All right, let's check out the next one.
Oh, see, I like this one too. This is like a mansion, in the south.
Oh, look at that.
A southern mansion.
Wow, looks like Penhurst or something, yeah.
The hooded figure here.
Oh yeah.
And then you got these guys.
This was a commission.
Okay.
This one, a nice guy approached me to do for his wife, and so there's everything in this one. I think there's there's just a Bigfoot and a ghost.
Okay.
And I think is the best ghost I've ever painted. I like this one a lot.
Me too.
And that building is based loosely off, what was it? You call it Pinehurst?
Penhurst?
Yeah.
Something like that. It might have been based off that. I forget. There was a picture I had that I loosely based the building structure after.
Okay. Yeah. It does have elements that I think is Penhurst. And then there's Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum as well.
Right. Yeah.
I mean those old
asylums.
Yeah, it's got that whole vibe for like a old TB hospital or an asylum, or some of those buildings are so beautiful and the architecture is so impressive, and then to think of all the horrors that happened inside of them.
That's the Gothic.
Yeah.
That's the Gothic part.
Gothic. But you're right, this spirit is so...
You can see the collar of his shirt, the ruffles down the front.
You can see the facial details.
Yeah.
And the it's really incredibly luminous.
Yeah.
Yeah, this painting is called Manifesting.
Oh.
And it's because of that right there.
Yeah.
I think it feels like he's manifesting. So
this is one of those that almost looks like, it almost looks like he was channeled.
He was there, yeah. He was there, yeah.
Like literally, I mean, you can see a hairline, you can see waves of hair, you can see the two eyes. How big is the original?
I think this one is 18 by 24.
Okay. That's really, this is incredibly tiny, but I mean, the detail is so impressive. Like, I haven't seen all of your work, but I'm here to tell you that looks like it's literally manifesting right there. Exactly what you said. Wow.
Something straight out of Ghostbusters,
Yeah. Wow. Very, very powerful piece.
Titan says he's a tour guide.
He's the tour guide?
He's the tour guide.
Walk this way.
Walk this way.
Yeah. Wow. I love that.
Yeah.
Very powerful. All right. Let's see what's next. Ooh.
Oh.
Wow.
They are here.
They're looking for cows.
Cows?
Okay. This is one of my favorite UFO ones.
Mm-hmm.
This one I don't remember it exactly, but this one I named it Coordinates. It has no actual name; it's just 2 coordinates, and I did that because I thought it'd be fun for people to go. I'm really interested in what those lead to, and if you do go to the coordinates, it takes you to the Himalayas.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah.
So there is I guess you would call it a Yeti in this one, even though there's a UFO too. But I really liked the feel of this one. That I was happy with the way the mountains that you see behind the light coming down from the UFO.
Yeah.
They're a little bit illuminated,
Mm-hmm.
and I was real happy how that came out.
That is, it's very powerful. That's what I was telling you before. It's like you're so in control of the color palettes and the feel through the whole work or the whole piece.
Great lighting on it.
Yeah.
He's just got great lighting.
Yeah, it really is.
Getting better, slowly.
That might be it. The hand, the head.
Oh, I think this scale is huge though, right? Because these are mountains.
Well,
I'm not sure where the Yeti is on this one.
Well,
That's the big mystery of those footsteps. Oh, is that him right there? Is he watching the light show?
Let me see what you're pointing to. No, but you're not far though.
Okay. Now I'm interested. Oh, is he?
You-
He's here. Okay, yeah.
There he is.
Oh, outstanding. He's on the other side.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. Wow. I love the footprints here. That's awesome because they take you on the journey, right?
Right.
I was like, wait, those are prints. Let's follow them.
Somebody in the chat asks if you because you have put Bigfoot and UFOs in pictures. Do you believe that there might be a alien connection with Bigfoot?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say there is. I think it's definitely a possibility. It's to me as logical as any of the other ones. So, so yeah, maybe.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, the question is did he just arrive?
Right.
Or did he just realize something's going on and went to check
Or
it
is
out?
he hiding?
Or now, well, I'll let you in. I normally don't kind of tell you what I was thinking when I painted it, but I felt like he was hiding from the UFO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Duck kind of away, like maybe it was coming back to pick him up, and he didn't want to go or something. I don't know.
You know, we've had a story of somebody being reporting that they were on a ship, and they looked over. They were on like a gurney in the metal room in the white light, and looked over next to them. They rolled their head over, and there was a Bigfoot on a gurney in the same room with them. So,
heard that.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, that's very powerful. That is really cool. Wow. I guess I got to zoom out a little more here. Or no, that's the last one.
Oh, that's the last one. Doggone.
Yep. That's
it. Oh, I should have given you more.
That's okay. That's okay.
I think we've definitely shown the power of your work. I mean, your work is incredibly visually stunning, and the emotion is palpable with every one of them.
And the thought that the viewer puts into it as well.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm glad you guys see it. You guys are getting it. You know, not everybody gets it. Right. You know, some people are like, why would I want a UFO on my wall? You know, it's like, it's not just a UFO on your wall. I mean, there's something more to it, you know, It's a little more substantial than that. It's cool. You know, you guys are getting it. And I love the feedback. It's great.
You know, it's amazing though how many people, you know, I'm not one of those guys that I look at, you know, art and go, oh yeah, blah 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 normally, you know, but I mean when it captures your eye, you know, especially with the, you know, the not sometimes it's hidden, sometimes it's just not so obvious. And I like the not so obvious, you know. Yeah. But you know, I've got a friend, our roommate actually, she's an artist and she does she'll do commissions, but she does a lot of you know, just, you know, like you say, you know, she gets in a zone and she paints for 5 hours straight, and you know, it's just a little tiny, you know, 8x11, you know, it's like you worked on that for 5 hours, you know, and or you know, we've got above my bed and down in my studio, we've got these big black horses in like a snow scene, and it's just one big horse. It's the horse head, or you know, in motion, and it's just done on wood with like a spackle and then oils over it, and they're just gorgeous, and they're huge and they're heavy. I have to keep remounting them because they're pulling out of the walls, which is just irritating me. But you know, then she did these crows that I absolutely love. They're crows, and they're the black crow, but they've got like these peacocky colors on their chest, and I just absolutely love them. And since she's been staying with us, you know, I've been getting a little more into the artsy stuff, and specifically painting kind of stuff, you know, because I read and you know, I create in my own ways. But I've really been getting into the art stuff and the paintings and things like that. And I've just been, you know, seeing it a lot more. And that's where I connected with your stuff, because it's like, you look at these and, well, we have a friend, Adam, over in New York that sent you that painting he made. And that was like, wow, and he sat down and did like a Bob Ross on it. He's like, okay. And he's doing it on a live stream. And he starts it and he gets it all done within this live stream. Brent's got it hanging on his wall. It's spectacular. I mean, there are just some people, that you can connect with. And this is that. And that little piece was fairly awesome as well. And then, my friend. So, some people walk by and go, yeah, that's a painting. Yeah, it's got good color here. Yeah, it's a this or it's a that. But, when you really can sit down and look at it and examine it and really look at it and go, you know what, I've never noticed these things before, because I've been playing with a little photography, taking pictures of my friends' pictures and want to make them bright so they pop off the canvas and into that 4K camera. And you got to have a good, you've got to have a great artist that you can do that for. So, yes, thank you.
We got a couple of questions in the chat. Titan, which is one of our moderators, says, Brent and Don, would Tim consider doing requests?
Yeah, I mean, that's the commissions I do every now and then. Yeah. Okay. If you mean just give me a suggestion that I could, I could do sometime, just if I like the idea. Yeah, I do that quite a bit. Okay. I get all kinds of good ideas.
Yeah, I'm not sure which version of that he meant, but yeah, you have mentioned that you've done commissions and do them as well. The next one is from Android, actually, your in-law, your cousin-in-law or whatever, step cousin-in-law. He says, that's amazing how he painted that light shine and made it translucent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could see through it. Yeah, I actually it just dawned on me about that. Yeah, that was awesome.
I'm very happy. I don't know if I could paint it again, but I did it that time. I was happy with it.
And another comment from Ghost Magnet. This family really feels Tim's work, it seems. He captures what we know could be true or is true, so it speaks to our soul.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, it is really powerful and poignant. Now, how does your inspiration work? I mean, as you said before, there are times when you just sit down and basically just do some strokes and see where it leads you. But how often do you enter into this process with a vision versus how often do you just let it go and see what comes?
A lot of times I'll just get in the mood to I want to do a creek or something, maybe a creek scene. But I won't really picture it in my head. I just know maybe I want to do a creek. And, or maybe I'll just have a general idea of the color. Like, the one painting, I knew I wanted to do something that looked like an old photograph. So for the most part, that's about all I got going in with one, maybe just a rough idea like that. And I just, or sometimes no idea at all.
Right.
And I'll sit down and just see what happens.
Right. And I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm just, is there a place where you showcase, you talked about where to get the prints, but where can people look at your original works for purchase?
Okay, I got a website, and it's www.twwilliamsart.com.
Cool.
Okay, I'm going to pull it up.
And also, my Facebook site, my Facebook artist page too, it has a ton of my work, probably even more than the website really. And it's on Facebook, it's T.W. Williams Fine Art.
Okay,
yeah, I put that on there and go full screen. I want to see that ship. Look at that Viking ship.
Oh, look at that.
That is just freaking awesome.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, not everything I do is paranormal. I mean, I would say 90% of it right now is.
Sure.
But I'm really into history too. And so matter of fact, I think my wife and I were watching the Viking series when I did that.
That was such a great series. Up until that one point, it was great. Wow.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration for the castle?
That was totally out of my head. That was another, I just kind of started painting, and I think I was doing some jaggedy mountains, and I was kind of like, that looks sort of like a castle, and I just kind of went with it.
Right.
Yeah, that is really cool.
We have quite a few people are asking, what do you work with most? Oils, acrylics, watercolors? What's your preferred medium, and what other mediums do you use as well?
Okay. I do exclusively oil paint.
Okay.
Yeah, I've messed around with acrylics a little bit and everything, but I just, for what I do, the luminous effects and everything, you really get that more from oils.
Yeah, because you got that shiny. Yeah.
Now, there's going to be some acrylic painters who are mad at me about that. But for me, it's what I like best. But I'll tell you who the bravest painters are, and that's the watercolor artists.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. 'Cause you can't, like on an oil paint, you can just keep painting. You can just push paint around until it looks right. You cannot do that with watercolor. You got to kind of plan that out.
Yeah,
and like I've told you, my process is not planned for the most part. So, I could never do watercolors. That's for the brave painters.
Yeah, I don't know how they do that either, and how they use the water as part such a powerful part of that medium. How they can just create a wet spot and then add color, and it just becomes this amazing thing. I've tried it, but mine always turn into train wrecks.
Yeah. I've done a little bit, but yeah, I like oils. Way more forgiving. A lot of people don't realize that. They think that oils are real tricky and everything. I'm like, nah, once you learn a few simple rules, then you realize that, if I screw up and I don't like it, I can literally scrape it or wipe it off and keep going.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think they're real forgiving that way.
That's awesome.
Wow. Looking at your gallery here, that is just amazing.
Ooh, I like this one, the night sky one. Oh,
I wonder if I can get him to do a pair of crows, because I was looking at some of these a couple obsidian carved crows that I want to get. But a painting, that would be interesting.
He's right here. You could ask him.
I know. But
I would consider that. I'm working on my own murder of crows. Oh, I have like a group of 7 that have been hanging around my house, and I fed them a few times.
Right.
So I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but I'm thinking about starting my own murder.
Give them sparkly things, shiny things. They're like raccoons.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. They say, my mom always told me to look for...
Talk about the crow project. We can talk about it.
Okay. All right. My mom always told me to look for crow's nests because you can find jewelry up in them sometimes. Yeah. They'll pick up lost jewelry.
But they will remember that you stole from them, too.
Or if you ever hurt them, yeah. No, these are beautiful. Very, very beautiful work.
Wow.
I this one's really powerful too. This
I like the one right above it too, the bridge.
The bridge, yeah. There's the bridge again. That is really great composition though.
And that and the space beneath the bridge looks more like a portal, not really, it looks like, if you could, like a moon, like you could walk through it and just be somewhere else.
Oh, look at this one. This one,
cool.
This winter landscape one with the path going right down the middle is there's such a power to the enclosed feeling that
and it's the tall old trees.
Yeah, the old growth. Yeah, there's such a majesty to that. You could find places like that up here all over the place.
That's one of them where people, when they found the Bigfoot in that one, have like literally jumped back, like it's freaked them out. I'm pretty sure that's the one.
What?
I think it's just more to the left right there.
Right here? Yeah, that might be.
Because it's right there. It's right there at you.
Yeah, it's looking right at you. Is this it? As I'm circling.
I'm having trouble remembering, but I think that is it. Yeah, I think so.
That's such a. The thing that always just amazes me is that they are so well blended that they can be literally standing like that.
Right.
The only reason we found that is because we were looking exactly for that. But much like the real phenomena, I think they can stand right next to a tree and you just can't see them. Yeah, I just think they blend in so incredibly well.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite the journey.
Really beautiful stuff, brother. I mean, it's a look at this one. The feel of being way up high like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, your ability to pull people into the experience of the painting, I think, is what's really profound to me, because you feel like you're actually transported. I mean, the vibe, the strength, the energy of. I really like this one though.
Yeah.
This
It's
one
kind
is.
of northern light.
It's gonna take him a second to see it, but yeah, it is. It looks like the Northern Lights, like the Aurora Borealis up there, or it's.
Yeah. I was kind of going for a bright Milky Way type thing. Yeah.
But man, just how just encompassing that is.
Right.
To look into it. This one, I mean, so many of the works as I went scrolling through the page are powerful, but just this one really sucked me in. It's like, wow, there's such an emotion to that, and such a, I don't know, it's the whole eternity thing. It's kind of the vibe I get when I look at the night sky. Just, when you're out on a clear night, there's no light pollution, and you look up there and go, wow, that's the feeling I get from this painting. It's just that powerful.
That's great. Yeah.
Well, your work is great, brother.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I said your work is great. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, this one's got a hidden Bigfoot, but I didn't get too crazy on it. Matter of fact, this was kind of early on in my putting Bigfoot in things. I think this one is literally just two red eyes, and I'm not even sure if you can see it in that picture. The picture's actually maybe comes off a little darker than what it is in real life, and it's a pretty big painting too.
Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing it right offhand, but I can't really, I can't zoom into this either. Yeah. But man, very powerful.
Yeah, crazy.
This is incredible work, and once again, I just want to thank you so much for coming on the show, because it's not only been a great discussion, but it's been a great journey
through your
into the ideas and your process, and to be able to explore your work with you is just it's been a real honor.
Oh no, the honor's all mine. You guys have been great. I really appreciate it. It's been fun. I love talking about this stuff. Right. It's great.
And a lot of our chatters are really into it. You've really connected with the people in our chat. They absolutely love it. They're talking about your stuff, and they just, I'm sure you're going to get some traffic off of this somewhere. So
great.
Yeah. They're just, it's been great. It's the colors, the lighting, it just excellent. And the texture, you got to have that texture. So there you go.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Again, let people know how to stay in touch with what you're doing, and give out your URLs again, please.
Yeah. My website is www.twwilliamsart.com. My Facebook site is TW Williams Fine Arts. And if you wanted prints of some of the stuff, that if you go to Fine Art America and just browse my name, just Timothy Wayne Williams, and my gallery will come up there.
Awesome.
So, yeah, one of those three.
It's been a great pleasure. Thank you so much for making this happen. And I got to thank the universe for bringing you into our world.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to about conclude our journey for the night. Thank you all for being here with us and for coming along with us on the ride. Again, please visit Tim's sites and help support what he's doing. Spread the word, as always, about the portal and about Tim's work. And I hope you all have a wonderful Thursday. Don, did you have anything in closing?
No, just I didn't expect to have this much fun talking about art. I actually enjoyed it. I might have to, look into, maybe getting together with you and talking about some things, but no promises there. There's a lot of things I like that I don't get around to. So, but you sure made a fan out of me. So thank you.
That's right. I appreciate it, guys.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to close it for us. Tim, did you have anything you wanted to say in closing?
I'm good. Maybe if you can and you're inclined, pray for those poor people in Afghanistan. But other than that, thank you all.
Excellent. Amen, brother. Excellent. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a great night. Remember, we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. and remember to laugh as much as you can. Good night, everybody. And Tim, stick around for a couple minutes if you can, and we'll talk to you after the show. All right.
Great.
That's it for us, ladies and
All
gentlemen.
right.
Good night.